Hello guys, welcome to another edition of Crime Time with DutyRon, a retired NYPD detective with 20 plus years in law enforcement. This stream is going to be real quick because there's really not a lot to talk about. So please remember to hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon when I go live or when I upload another video. Hey Dave, good to see you. Thank you for joining. Hello, guys. Quickly, I wanted to come live to you. There was the hearings today, just wrapped up for Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell Vallo in Idaho. Listen, some of the most bizarre things that I witnessed, and I've been around for quite a few criminal trials. To have a defense attorney, Mark Means, represent Lori Daybell, and he has never tried a murder case and really only tried one case that would even be close to qualifying for something like this is just ridiculous. And the argument is he wanted to, there was a sidebar, there's a whole bunch of hogwash going on. I mean, this is the most simple hearing to have. The judge explains the charges that are being brought forward to your client, and you're there to represent your client and just say, yes, we understand the charges. He took it to a next level by doing what he did, and you saw the judge, and you also saw the prosecutors. The prosecutor objected to the continuance, and the reason I think that they objected to that continuance is they don't want Lori Daybell Vallo to say at the end of this, "I was not represented properly." That creates a problem, and that is also something that they're trying to avoid. Even a public defender sees so many cases, and they try and they defend so many people who are charged with murder and all the different various felony charges. They have so much experience that a public defender, a free attorney appointed by the court, because remember, Lori Daybell Vallo was declared indigent, like that she was poor and that she couldn't afford an attorney. Even a public defender in this case would have done better justice for her. Chad Daybell's attorney, clear and concise, accepted the charges, and then asked at the end, did you catch when he asked the judge, can we be excused? Like he knew that this is just part of the stages and the steps of the process. He was like, Your Honor, can we be excused? This Mark Means is a clown. And I think the prosecution knows it, and I think the judge knows it, but he wants to continue on the case. And I think he wants to continue on the case for fame and fortune, or to have his name out there that, hey, Mark Means defended Lori Daybell Vallo, an evil monster who killed both of her children and helped to conspire to kill Chad Daybell's then wife, so she can go on Amazon and buy a bullcrap ring and a wedding dress and get herself all straight. A public defender would, Debbie, public defender would be more experienced and would be able to, basically represent her much better, in my opinion. So if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you will get all things DutyRon when I go live or upload another video. But again, I will link down below a link to the court YouTube channel. And if you want to view it, it really took literally between Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell Vallo. I like to call her Shallow. It took literally minutes for it to be done. Hello, Black Rose. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. By a show of hands, let's do a quick roll call before I wrap it up. Where are you watching? City and state, so I could say hello and get a couple of wave the hand, so to speak, and say hi to everybody. Let me know where you're watching from. Thank you for that. Thank you for making the chat. UK, hello from New Jersey. Loveland, Colorado. The UK, hello from Idaho. Good to see you. Topeka, Kansas. Windsor, Virginia. Portland, Oregon. Portland, Oregon again. Kansas, great to see you. Thank you for checking in from Tucson. Good to see you. Thank you for joining, Julie K. Always a pleasure. Love and respect. Hello, Notorious Nance. Great to see you. Hello from Flushing, Michigan. Sandy, Utah, I mean. Thank you so much for joining. Hi, guys. Hello from the great state of Texas. Scotland, checking in. Hello from Oregon. Good to see you in Vienna, Austria. Sydney, Australia was right above that. Sorry, Marie. Hello from Georgia. Great to see you. Thank you from Switzerland, Vicky Walker, and a channel member to boot. Good to see you, Kentucky, TCE. Thank you. Hello, Maui girl from Hawaii. Aloha. Gerda checking in from South Africa. Good to see you. Love and respect right back to you, Julie. Thank you. Hello from Luxembourg. Good to see you. Hello, Michigan. All right. We have the world covered. And I thank you for that. Again, Mark Means was, again, a showstopper here, an embarrassment, I feel, for the defense. This is just a ridiculous dragging out a very simple process. You come before the judge. We saw what Chad Daybell's attorney did. You come before the judge. You accept what these warrants are against your client. There's no bail. There's nothing involved with a bail hearing or arguing bail, or none of that exists. It's a simple process where you represent your client. You do it quickly, efficiently, and go. There's nothing. Lori is not up to anything. She is not up to anything. So what we did notice from today's court appearance is that Lori is no longer a blonde. It seems to me that she couldn't get any hair coloring or dye to bleach her hair blonde. So she's now back to a darker colored hair coloring because she's in the pokey. She's in jail, ladies and gentlemen. So in jail, you are not afforded to have your hair dyed. And guess what? These are attached to you when you're in jail. So her new set of bracelets are no longer 14 karat gold or sterling silver. It is courtesy of Smith & Wesson. So her new bracelets are courtesy of Smith & Wesson. So there's Lori and Chad Daybell's new bracelets. And they are fine, very heavy. And these bracelets are very strong and very heavy. So that is their new bracelets. So as a disclaimer, if you don't like the clicking of the cuffs, you should tune out now because I'm about to click just a little bit. Maureen, I told you that I would give you the disclaimer and I forgot, but I did remember after the fact. So that was it. There's just one little bit of click and I'm going to, Maureen, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. You got to forgive me. I promised that I would give the disclaimer. So next time I'll let you know in advance before I pull those out. But it was fitting because she came out, she had a mask on, her hair was no longer blonde. Sorry, Maureen. You know I love you. Some people like it. Look, Leanne Cornett loves the sound. By a show of hands, who loves the sound and the stainless steel of the Smith & Wesson bracelets? Who, by a show of hands, put a 1 in the chat if you like it. Maureen, you could go ahead and put the 2 already. Put the number 2 in the chat if you hate the sound of the clicking. Let me know. Let me know. A lot of ones coming out. A lot of ones on Lori Daybell Vallow's new bracelets. And there has to be a number 2 coming from Maureen. You have to put the 2 in there. I won't stop until Maureen puts her number 2 in. I'm waiting. Unless she tuned out. I hope she didn't. I hope she didn't tune out. So, okay, there's the 2. There's a number 2 right there. And it was Miss Kurt Cobain. All right, cool. All right, so what you missed, for those of you who are just joining, Thank you, Wilma. Okay, so Wilma's trying to, that's girl power at work. Wilma's like, let me support Marie. So what you missed today is just a quick hearing. Chad Daybell was represented by his attorney. They came in. The charges were read to him. They were done in literally 30 minutes. There you go, Maureen. Reminds me of mine when I was an immigration officer. Thank you. So he was in 2 minutes. They read him the charges. There was no objections, and his attorney. Thank you, Maureen, with the two. Chad Daybell's attorney asked the judge, "Can we be excused?" He was like a little brat, like, "Hey, can I go back to my sandbox and play?" But the difference is his client is going to a jail cell. He's going to be in behind bars, and that's where he is. If he was smart, he would have took a little extra time to have his client outside of the box. Instead of rushing the hearing and letting it go fast, he could have maybe asked a couple of questions and kept his client out of the jail cell that he's relegated to, his small 8x10 or 8x6, whatever the size of the jail cell is. But now Chad Daybell's attorney rushed the hearing and, like a little crybaby, asked the judge, "Can we be excused? May we be excused?" And the court officers then took charge, in the corrections department took Chad Daybell, and he had his suit removed and his tie and put back into prison garb and sent back to his small little box that he is now in behind bars. So again, Lori Daybell, Vallo's attorney, Mr. Mark Means, has got very little experience. He's never tried a murder case against a client. He's never represented a client on a heavy case like this, and this potentially could be a capital punishment case. He is in no way, shape, or form ready for this. I was listening to a little bit of attorney Scott Reich. He was covering this live. I was I was listening with my earbuds, and Scott said in his 26 years of being an attorney, he's never seen anything like this. And he also agrees that it's ridiculous to have this guy represent Lori Daybell Vallow. And he even went as far as saying he's going to clear his schedule for this court case and travel and sit in on this trial. Now, I don't know if he's going to really do that or if he was just saying it, but if it made Scott Reich, who is a 26-year veteran and a criminal defense attorney, and from all accounts seems like a very excellent criminal defense attorney. He talked about some of his cases that he recently handled, and he was blown away. And I always go with fact-based channels who have experience in the topic that they're talking about, and I do that because I want to learn too, and I want to know. Hopefully I have the Mega Millions jackpot right here in my hand. You got to be in it to win it. But Scott Reich even said how ridiculous and how much of a waste of time the having Mr. Mark Means go forward with this case. It's ridiculous. He said that she would be better off with a public defender, because him and I, we both know this. I'm in and out of the courts. I worked in the Fugitive Enforcement Division, so I was in and out of courts every day. And when you go in and out of courts, you get to know the inner workings and how things work. And I dealt with the the public defender's office quite often. I needed them to represent when I arrested somebody on a warrant, and I used those handcuffs and clicked somebody up. I always brought my arrestees into criminal court, into Supreme Court on the return on the warrant. They needed to be they needed to have representation. So I dealt with the public defenders on a regular basis, and I made friends with a lot of the girls and guys in the public defender's office. And let me tell you something. They were so experienced because they handled such high volumes of cases. They knew the little ins and outs that maybe a private attorney wouldn't even know, because they're in court every day. Now, this also applies to, let's just say, God forbid, now this has nothing to do with court or criminal cases, but if, God forbid, you were shot or stabbed or you had a serious heart attack, wouldn't you want to go to a major 1 level trauma center where there's heart doctors and heart surgeons. If you were shot or stabbed and you had blunt trauma or something that's major trauma, you'd want to go to a really high-level trauma center, a level 1 trauma center as we call it here. I would rather go to a level 1 trauma center where they're seeing a lot of volume of people and know how to handle gunshot wounds, as opposed to going to some little Okie from Muskogee hospital that they don't really see a lot of action. The public defender's office, they see a lot of action because more people than not cannot afford attorneys. Most of America, most people are not in a position where they can hire a private attorney. So those public defenders, they know what they're doing. They see a lot of high volume, and I tell you, it makes all the sense in the world. Now, that tells me that Lori Daybell, Lori Vallow, or Lori Daybell, whatever you want to call her, shallow Vallow is not using common sense. Because if she was using common sense, she would say to herself, I need to get somebody who has experience, not this guy that doesn't that's never defended somebody for capital punishment. Anyways, that's about it. That's how it goes. Julie, good to see you. Say hello to Dr. Ed, Dr. Moskowitz. Send my love and respect. I appreciate it. Thank you all for being in here. Lori Shallow and Chad Daybell. There you go. Much love and respect from my house to yours. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Follow me on all things social media. One word, DutyRon. Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And if you go to DutyRon.com, hold on, Okie Dokie sends in a $5 super chat. Does Lori's case being stayed a couple of months ago have anything to do with this continuance? I do not think so. No. It all just seems stupid and bizarre that they would waste valuable time, and I'm surprised that the court granted it. Sidebars and not telling people what's going on just creates confusion, and it creates people, thinking certain things, and what is she up to? I don't think she's up to anything, because she's proving not to be too smart in my book. So I don't really plant a lot of I wouldn't think too much into this. This is just an incompetent attorney representing her, because this is the quickest, most basic, and Scott Reich and anybody who's in the criminal defense world, Joe Murray, will tell you this. This didn't have to be. This is just a tactic that is ridiculous. It's weird. It's all of the above. It doesn't make any sense at all. So, do you think Chad is turning on her, Shelby? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if he turned on her or she turned on him. So none of it would really surprise me, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I can't make a comment on that because I don't have enough information on it, MH, to be honest with you. I have this full-time gig that I do, and this is like my little bit of lunchtime. I go out and do some banking, and I go to the post office and do a couple of things. So I give you guys 15 or 20 minutes a day to try to update you. And if this wasn't going on, today wouldn't have been a day that I did any kind of live streaming. I just wanted to bring you a little bit of my perception of what went on today. And really, that's the deal. I don't like to comment on things that I don't have a complete knowledge of. So that's why I didn't comment on that, MH. I hope you understand. Alley Cat, great to see you. Brenda, I know it's frustrating for all of us. Thank you for being a channel member and a good friend. So all of it is, not making sense. But at the end of the day, prosecution, I'm confident that our prosecution team has a stack of circumstantial and live evidence, i.e. the recoveries and autopsy results and all of that stuff. There's a lot of evidence, both circumstantial and physical evidence, that will be used against Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell Vallow. Lots of, computer records, cell phones, all of the electronic footprint. It's all going to come into play, and this trial is going to be a blockbuster. It's going to keep us riveted and watching. I will be there to cover it as it goes along with you guys and give you my thoughts and my opinions, along with bringing on experts like Chief of Staff Barbara Butcher from the New York City Medical Examiner's Office. Once the autopsy results is revealed, and I would have to tell you, you are going to hear it right here. I would say, if I had a bet, if I was a betting man and I was in Vegas, I would say that Chad Daybell poisoned his wife, Tammy Daybell, and that's how he killed her. The pink, frothy stuff coming from her mouth, the pink troughed foam, the foam coming from Tammy's mouth, as per her daughter, is clear and evident of poisoning. And I would have to say, you can hold me to that. I would almost tell you that I would probably bet my pension on it that he poisoned his wife. And that's what we're going to hear. So you heard it right here on DutyRon. Thank you, MH, for the $39.99 super chat. Thank you. Love and respect right back to you. I don't think carbon monoxide. I think it's going to be something else. But any type of poisoning, I think carbon monoxide would have affected everybody in the house. And that's a little bit more difficult to cover up. So, Brenda, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Thank you for being our voice of reason. I appreciate that, Brenda. I do appreciate that. Yes, Jacqueline and Trezell could be next. We're hoping. Thank you, Shannon. I appreciate you. Some type of chemical, some type of foreign object, some type of foreign substance introduced into the body. Thank you, Calcutta. I appreciate you. He wanted to have her cremated, but her family wanted to have a funeral mass for her. She was so well loved back in her hometown. He couldn't pull that off. And trust me, I guarantee you he thought about having her cremated to get rid of her remains. But it didn't work out that way, and that's not where we're at right now. He's a scumbag, and so is she, and they both are where they belong, behind bars. The wheels and the long arm of the law has grabbed them and brought them to justice while in custody. I told you this too a long time ago. I knew that these murder charges were going to come forward. I just didn't know when. But if you look back on my replays, you can watch my playlist, okay? You could watch my playlist. I spent over 30 years in the criminal justice system, so I know how it goes in my law enforcement career. I said it. If you look back into my playlist on this case, I said a long time ago that they would be charged with Tylee and JJ's murder, and also I said Chad Daybell will be charged with his wife's murder. I only wish that they could have charged them with all of the other three people who I feel that they murdered. But the justice is going to come when the judge asks the jury to read their verdict and they all say guilty of all charges. And when you get that guilty verdict read, the justice will not just be for the three people who they're being charged with, the two children and Tammy Daybell. It'll be for everyone that was in their path of destruction. That justice of them going to jail for the rest of their life times 3. It's going to be 3 life sentences and then extra time on top of it. You're going to be looking at 250 years or some kind of ridiculous amount or whatever without the chance of parole. Justice will be indirectly served to everybody else who has been mowed down in their path, you know? So yes, Charles will get justice in Arizona as well on the conviction, on the guilty verdict handed down for these two savages, these two evil demons, as I like to call them. All right, guys, love and respect from my house to yours. Thank you so much for being in here. Thank you to the super chatters. Thank you to everyone that joins my Patreon. Go over into DutyRon.com and ask for an entry into my Patreon. I don't just add people to Patreon. You got to ask to come in there. So ask to join on my Patreon. Go over to my Facebook Police and Crime chat group. Go over to my YouTube video share group on Facebook and join. Thank you, JJ Gids. Always a pleasure. Hi, Winky. Good to see you. Guys, thank you so much. Love and respect from my house to yours. I will see you on the next one. God bless from New York.